Well met, coders. I'm Professor Kaufman of the University of Maryland's Computer Science Department. What ensues is a short tutorial on using the gradescope-submit script that I've written to support students in my courses, primarily CMC 2 and 16, but some others might find it useful, particularly if they need to submit code to Gradescope and would prefer a command line interface to do so. Normally, when you would submit code to Gradescope for assignments and such, you would go through either their web interface to upload a zip or individual files, or can use a third-party account like GitHub in order to submit those things. I find both those things to be a little bit tedious and error prone, so to prevent my students from needing to do so and inadvertently submitting the wrong zip files, as is often the case, I've written this script in order to support it. The homepage for the script is over at Kaufman77 gradescope-submit. That's under GitHub, and you're free to fork it and make some pull requests if you're so inclined, but it works out of the gate fairly well, according to the instructions I'll give in just a second. If you want information on it, then that's present in the README. That's at the top level of the GitHub account. But I'll demonstrate the essential items that are needed here. The basis of this is just on the command line. You can type the gradescope-submit script. You'll need to know the course number and assignment ID that are associated with that on Gradescope, and I'll show you where to find those. And then whatever files you want to submit, I have students do so through a zip file. On the other hand, you can also submit whole directories or individual files if that's the style that's out there. Instructors vary across computer science curriculums as to what they'd use, but this can ease things, particularly if you're working on a remote server, as is the case in some of our courses, as we need a Linux environment. You're SSHing in order to submit through the web form, then you'd need to transfer files away from the server onto your personal laptop or something like that. This spares you that need if you are submitting particularly close to the deadline, for instance, and just want to get it up there. We'll need that Gradescope-submit, so I'm going to leave this web browser positioned over here for this wget, because we're going to need that in just a second. From the student perspective then, what you would see is over here you have this assignment that's coming up. This one's called Lab 1 Demo, and normally as you'd click on this, you would need to drag and drop or upload some sort of a zip file. If I click this, I get my file browser and need to go find whatever zip that's over there. But I have that, for instance, on some remote machine, and I'd rather not go to the trouble like this, or I'm sort of in a time pinch. Over here is a terminal where I've been working on the code. You can see over here there's this carefully constructed hello C file. This is part of the first assignment that students in 216 do. Locally, I can do a make test and see that this is still failing some stuff, but may have got half the points that I need, and so I'm going to upload it anyway. And in order to do so, I'll need to get the Gradescope-submit script. That's not present in this directory right now. It will be for CMC 2 and 216 students, because I'll be providing that. But if you're at some other university and would like to get it, then you can just copy this little wget over here, or clone the repository and put the executable someplace you want, or install via pip. There's a bunch of different options that are described in the README here, according to your whims. But this is the fast and dirty way to do it. You may also need to change the permissions, because it's a script, to make it executable for the current user, and I'll do so now just to ensure. So if I typed Gradescope-submit, it'll give me a little error message right now saying you need to provide a course ID, an assignment ID, and possibly files to submit for this, so the script won't work out of the gate. So to that end, let us figure what those two things out. From the web page here that the assignment is listed on, you can see this course number right here. That's the first argument that would go to the script. And so that'd be Gradescope-submit, this thing. And then over here, we'd also need an assignment number for this. Now, irritatingly, if I click on this thing, it just pulls up a little window that says, hey, drag and drop here. So it's kind of hard for your first submission to figure out what the assignment number is. CMC 2 and 16 students won't have to worry about that, because I'll be putting that number in the make file. So we'll see sort of the easier way to do it here. But if you need to figure it out, you can look at the source for the page. So I'd right click here and say view the page source. This is the raw HTML for that page, and then search around for assignments ID, and it'll be this little number over here, in this case 644321. So I'm going to paste that down over here. And then I also need what files I'm going to upload as part of the submission. Now in my case, I like students to upload zips, and so I'm just going to run a little provided command, make zip in the make file that we have here. Refresh the directory, you'll see there's that gradescope-submit, and also this lab1 complete zip. That's the file that is to be uploaded as the submission. And so I'll just punch that in, lab1 over here. Okay, so this is the command line then for this assignment. The course number is not likely to vary, but the assignment number will, because each of the assignments have different numbers. And if your instructor loves you and is providing, a make file, then perhaps they'll be so kind as to put that in as variables that are in the make file or something like that, so that you can ease things there. I'll show CMC 2 and 16 students what that looks like in just a second. As for now, as I punch enter, I'll need to authenticate with Gradescope. So you'll need to know your username and password on Gradescope. That is usually your university ID, although in my case, my university email is associated with being the professor, so I have this little dummy account set up as a student. I'll punch that enter here. And then you also need to know your password on Gradescope. And Gradescope's passwords move independently of whatever university's does. So you can find and reset those in your account there. Let's see here, I'm gonna close this thing, go away from this and go to my account. If you edit your account and don't know your password, you can reset it here by punching it in and then confirming, and that will change the password there. Again, that's independent from your university passwords, and so don't use that university password, you'll probably just get rejected. We'll type mine in here. And this should then, if you authenticate correctly, go through the process of submitting. The submit successful means Gradescope has accepted that submission. And then down here, by default, the script will monitor the autograder process. That's for 216 students, the same process that ensues with the make zip bit. If there are differences there, I'd want to know about it. But in some cases, courses run with secret tests, so you don't have access to those locally, rather need to submit in order to see what they look like. As you can see, the lab tests are reported over here as half a point out of 1 point, and so that reflects what the local results were. Let's buzz back over here to the dashboard for this thing. Let's see, come here, and it's this sandbox thing here. You can see this has changed from there was no submission, and now there is a submission. So I punch this, you can see over here, the compilation was successful, and then the test results that are shown over here are reflective of what's happening there. Now, if I want to fix this thing up, I can jump into the code that's slightly broken intentionally. I'm going to uncomment this line, which I intentionally got rid of in order to cause the test to fail. If I do a make test again, then I can see now the code test that was previously failing, it's passing at my full 1 point for the lab. If I make a zip again and then rerun that previous command here to do the Gradescope submit, I'll have to punch in my email address again. And authenticate. And that looks like it accepted my password here. And you can see now the submission was successful. The autograder is running. And in just a moment, we should be able to see that we got our full 1 out of 1 there. Okay, so that looks good in terms of the way the script reported it. Over here, I should be able to see, let's see, the submission history. You can see some old deleted ones that I had here, but this is, I'm looking at an old submission, and if I make this one active as the new submission, you can see I got my full 1 point out of 1 point there. So the script was reflecting what the autograder actually reports in the web form there, which should always be the case. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about this in terms of demoing how this works. If you are curious and sick of typing your password in over and over again, there is some advice in here about where you can place your password and username for Gradescope submits in some sort of environment variables, and this will spare you the need then to type those in every time. always a security risk associated with those things, but do what you will out there. There's always a trade-off between security and convenience on that, along with instructions for various shells depending on what you might use. Could that happen? And if you'd like to install this locally, then there's instructions to do so either via pip or just copying the executable Python script someplace else. There's also a description then of Gradescope's API that's needed. If you're installing yourself, then just know there's one dependency. It's called the requests library. It's a pretty common Python library. And if you're using pip, it should install like normally there, but you may have to do other things there. All right, that's all I've got. Enjoy, and again, comments welcome. Happy hacking, all.